What's up, everyone? We are back. It's your host, Anthony Bevilacqua, alongside my co-host, Jimmy McCurry, and we are bringing you guys a jam-packed episode today. We're going to talk about how to increase your profits in your fitness business. We're going to be talking about how to bring home the hard moolah, because again, we help gym owners build a cash room and bring home 20K plus per month in profit. Because all these guys out there, they talk about, oh, your gym can make six figures. Forget what your gym can make. We want you to take home the profit because you deserve it. But Big Jimmy, what's going on, buddy? How we doing? You ready for this today?
Good, man. I'm excited to really give some golden nuggets and help these guys out,
Yeah, let's get rolling right into it, man. I'm pumped to bring home the profits for these guys. So when you're talking about profits in your fitness business, one of the first things that comes to mind is being a premium product and having a premium service. And most guys and ladies in this industry always just compare themselves to Orange Theory or any of these other fitness modalities that are out there. So they charge a lot less than what they should. And most of the ways people come up with their pricing strategy for their business is basically, okay, the guy down the block charges $200 a month, so I'll charge $190. And that's basically the way they come up with their prices. But if you want to bring home the bacon, so to say, you got to look at premium pricing.
Yep, exactly. I mean, and that's one of the things that you and I had learned early on in our business life was we looked at what was our value prop and what did it really look like and what were we providing to our community, right? And we based our pricing upon what the community was getting as value from what our service was, and not what Tom, Dick, or Harry down the street was charging for their personal training service or boot camp service or whatever service that you're in. If you price your sessions at a premium.
You cut out, Jimmy.
Oh, is my...
You see, when you get to make the big bucks, you buy headphones that don't work. We're going with this anyway. I still don't hear you. So whenever you want to click on and see if it works, and then I'll just take over from there. So when we say premium pricing, I think we should also be specific in how much it is that we charge and what that is. So I would say anywhere between probably 300, again, if you're doing small group personal training, anywhere between 300 and 500 per month is that sweet premium spot.
Yeah. Can you hear me now, Anthony?
You're good, Ben. Okay. You're good.
So yeah, when we're talking about small group personal training, which is the business that, Anthony and I are both in, you might refer to it as semi-private. But when we're in that business, yeah, we're talking, your lowest tier should really be in that 300 mark or around there, because you're spending a lot of effort and energy to acquire this client, right? Yep. And if you're spending all this effort and energy to acquire this client, whether it's optimizing your website, using digital marketing, referral promotions, whatever it may be as your acquisition system, you're spending all this effort, energy, and time, either business that you're in. So it doesn't matter if you're in like a boot camp setting and you're selling $100 product or maybe a $200 product. That might be great because you can get more volume of people, but you have to get 2 people for every 1 person you have to acquire in that $400 range. So what we've learned over time is if you set your pricing to premium and you improve your sales skills enough to be able to sell that more premium product, you have a lower ceiling to how many clients you need to get to be profitable. And you get those clients basically at a discount because you're going to spend the same amount of money to acquire a client that is cheaper. And honestly, they may not stay as long either because they're paying a price that attracts a certain type of client that's not an affluent client, that's not going to be able to weather the storm like we saw during the pandemic. Like a lot of our clients were able to weather the storm because they were affluent and they were spending a high ticket for what our service was. So that premium pricing allows you to acquire clients more profitably, as well as spend less effort to acquire a higher volume of clients because you don't need that high of a volume to be a profitable fitness business.
Exactly. I mean, that was well said, man. And it's true. The thing is, and I don't know if you said this before, maybe you cut out, but no matter how much you're paying to actually acquire the customer, especially if you're advertising on Facebook or anything else, it's going to cost you the same amount for that lead anyway. So you might as well sell them a premium product. I mean, in the case of somebody else listening to this who doesn't have a small group option, and maybe they do have a large group only, I would say definitely being on the higher end of that, anywhere between 200 a month to 250 a month, in that range is probably a premium for that type of a model. And if you haven't yet, I would definitely start doing a small group program inside your facility and making that kind of the core product, because you need to be selling these people at a higher clip in order to bring home, you know, more profits for sure. So that's definitely the premium. So I would say if you're a large group, 200 to 250 is probably, as of right now recording this, is probably the top end of that. And then again, for small group is anywhere between 300 and 500. And heck, I've sold more than that. You've sold more than that. I mean, what's the highest you get for a small group? What's the highest you've charged?
Our top tier program is going to be in that $600 range. And then we even have those $600 clients that will participate in seasonal challenges and buy supplements. And so that client is worth way more than that 600 that they originally signed up for. But the other thing that premium pricing does for you that I'd love to mention is that when somebody commits to that premium price, they believe in your service more, right?
Yep.
They can't deal with the cognitive dissonance that exists. If they're paying that much money for the service, then their perception is that it's better. Is it better? Is it not better? Well, that's up to you as the owner and the coach to make sure that your coaching is top notch, right? But when they pay a higher premium, a lot of times they spend more as well. So even if you have that premium product, that $600 product, we were selling an $800 product for a while for our small group as well. You can get that high of a rate out of your clients. You just have to believe it and know that you can sell it and work on your sales system enough so that you can demand that pricing.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll get into this in other episodes. You know, we'll talk about sales structure and things like that too, which is why I'm super pumped, man, to do this with you. This is going to be really, really cool. So the next thing that you have to look at when we're talking about increasing profits is obviously what's going out the window on the other end of it. And the biggest expense that you have, and it's funny because one of my first bosses, who I absolutely hated when I was running a Gold's Gym, this guy was a mean dude, but he always used to tell me there's only one thing that you can control in your business, and that is payroll. So you can only control payroll. And he was 100% right when I look back at it. So your payroll is something that is very, very, your biggest expense probably on your bottom line. You have to look at that with a grain of salt. So many gyms overstaff. They have way too much staff, and all this money is going out the window on staff that's not returning the revenue that you need. So you need to really try to think about running your business as simple as possible. If you can, like, try to minimize as much as you can. The simpler your business is, the less things that are going to be in the system, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to kind of make everything a lot easier to run and a lot smoother. You won't need 3 employees during one shift. Maybe you only need 2. So you have to look at how many employees you have and what they're actually doing and look at the structure of that. I mean, that's one of the things that we did with Jimmy. We sat down, we went over his structure with his employees. We were able actually to scale back 1 employee each shift, and he was able to save more money and bring in more revenue just by making that one switch. So you need to look at your schedule, how many clients you actually need per trainer. Are those sessions full? Maybe you need to cut down some of those sessions and see if you can get your trainers to output more.
Exactly. So what we see typically, and Anthony and I actually have known each other for a very long time. And too long. Right? Yeah. That faux hawk, man, too long. So I was dealing with what he's talking about specifically. I was dealing with a staffing issue, right? I had my staff all over the place, working this shift, that shift. I found myself having to double up on different shifts at my facility because some of our sessions were too busy. What I didn't realize was I had so much profit left in my business that I could attack by changing a shift schedule of my staff, right? And it freed me up to work way less. So I made more money and worked less hours by changing my staff's schedule around. We've had the same amount of staff making half the revenue that we're making right now and have not had to add staff because of the shifts that I have them work to make the facility more efficient. So you don't need 5 trainers, 6 trainers running around in your facility. You need your trainers to take on other aspects of your business as well, right? So that's kind of the offshoot or the dovetail into the next topic. You can make your business significantly more profitable by having your staff members that want to work full time, right? Your trainers don't want to work split shifts and 20 hours a week and all this kind of stuff that is so prevalent in the industry. They want full-time consistent hours. They'll stay longer, they'll be more loyal, and they'll feel like they're actually making an impact in the business instead of just being a hired gun that is just there to run sessions. So one of the things that we've done at our facility is we've set different standards up for different shift members, right? So our morning trainer is also going to do our administrative work, our onboarding, our billing questions, basically your admin stuff, right? Our evening trainer is going to do all of our nutrition coaching as well, right? And then pick up odds and ends here, things that he needs to do, cleans the facility because he's the closer, right? And both of those employees have full-time roles. And those full-time roles allow them to have a consistent schedule and consistent pay so that they stay longer and they're taking care of all these other aspects of the business. So they're very rooted to the community, and it saves me money on payroll because I don't have to hire another staff member and run more payroll for that other person and worry about that eating up a lot of my profit from my business.
Well, even like the way you had it said too, you don't have to worry about hiring a cleaner either, because now you have your staff who's going to be doing that. So you eliminate kind of that role right there and putting them in there. I think one of the other things too that's important for gym owners to look at is, depending on the model that you run, if you're running, let's just say with a large group, whatever, 20 people in the room, and that's your model is 1 person to 20 people, there's no reason to staff 2 or 3 trainers during that shift. There's no reason, because that's your model, 1 to 20. It's different if you were running 1 to 6 and you had 20 people in the room, then yes, you need more trainers because that doesn't suit your model. But if your model is 1 to 20, there's no reason to have another staff on there. And if you needed to, again, everybody's gym is a little bit different, but if you needed to have like a staff, a front desk person or something like that, cross-train them to do other things. Like Jimmy said, teach them how to do nutrition coaching or teach them how to do admin work and your billing issues. So this way you don't have to hire a biller. You don't have to hire somebody to help you on the back end. That person can have 2 jobs and 2 things that they're like supposed to do every day that will allow you to free up payroll. Because again, that fixed cost, once you hire that employee, that's a fixed cost on your bottom line that's going to come out of your pocket. So, and I'm not saying that you should be doing all of it. And there's definitely, we could talk about that at another time too, but you want to try to offload your plate as much as possible, but give the people around you the tasks to do it so you get the most efficient return out of it. So for example, in my case, our morning sessions are a lot slower and a lot just quieter in the morning. It's just whatever it is for us. It's just the morning is a lot slower for us. So our morning person always has like a break here and there. So she's cross-trained as a nutrition coach. So during her break, she goes on and she does the nutrition coaching as well. So again, it saves me money. I don't have to hire a full-time nutrition person to sit there and do the nutrition coaching all day, where my staff can do it throughout the day. So getting more out of your staff members, I think, is important as well. And not being afraid to cross-train them. Maybe you need a staff member. Maybe you have somebody who's good at doing videos and you need content to do. Maybe that person during their off time, they edit videos for you, or they, whatever, they make content. They're good at Fiverr and they make things. One of my other staff members, he's really good at coming up with graphics and infographics around the gym. So if I have a task for him to do during his breaks, he'll do that. So it's getting more out of, more out of less.
Exactly.
So I think we beat that one up pretty good, but that's what you guys have to work on, that one, because that's the biggest one. Really take a look at what's going on in your gym and say, okay, do I really need this person? What else can I do to maximally get the most out of this? The next thing is the sales component and working through your leads. Big one. I see this all the time. People get so many leads on Facebook. How many times you call them? Once. I text them. I don't call them. And that's one of the things I actually learned from this guy on the other end of this, because this guy works those leads like crazy. And, it's not until you actually, your job is to get them to say no and stop calling you. That's your job. They opted in, they inquired. So it's your job to keep following up with them. You want to pick up profits, pick up the phone. That's it. And you could probably speak way more on that.
100%. Right. And we can look at some things in the industry, right? And you look at Harvard Business Review. They did a study years ago that talks about how many calls it takes to get the close, right? And how many salespeople, and this is professional salespeople, right? It's not necessarily in our industry, all industries, right? When you look at it, most salespeople stop after call one. They call them, they leave a voicemail, maybe, and that's it, right? Oh, that's a bad lead. Oh, they didn't pick up. Oh, I got other things to do, right? What other things do you have to do besides grow your business, right? That is your role. And for most business owners, initially, that is their role, right? But what this review said was that there is an uptick in responses by call 6, and most salespeople are stopping at call 1. So if you're like every other gym out there and you're stopping at call 1, you're going to be like every other gym out there. You're not going to be a 1%er. You're not going to be this gym that has big profits and can take home 10, 20K in profit, right, per month. You're going to be one of these gyms, just like every other one, that's struggling, where the owner does everything. So it's a matter of building a sales system where you have a structured follow-up sequence where you're calling them and dialing for dollars, really is what it's about. Okay. So if you're not calling people at least 6 times in the first week or week and a half, you're doing it wrong. So you're going to pick up an additional client. Like right now, we have a client in the gym, just as a one-off example. We have a client in the gym. He did not return a phone call until call 6. Okay. After call 6, he came in, signed up for a program, signed up for one of our internal challenges. So more revenue from him, and is now bringing his wife in, right? If we did not continue to call him 6 times, none of that revenue would ever have happened. And our lifetime value of a client at our facility is somewhere between $6,800 and $8,000. And this guy has turned into 2 of them, plus a challenge fee, right? Because we called him 6 times. So it's imperative that you continue to follow up with your leads and you track those things religiously, because by not calling them and doing that admin task or training that client or taking on that one-on-one or cleaning the gym or whatever other task you think is more important, you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies.
Guys, I'm going to repeat that for you. 6 calls, not 1, not 3, 6. How many of you right now listening to this can honestly say they've made 6 calls? Now, again, you could do this in so many different ways. Maybe you call them twice in one day. That's 2 calls. So in this case, Jimmy, this guy who you called 6 times, what was it twice a day the first? Like, what day did you get in touch with him?
Yeah, so it's twice a day the first day. And then we called him throughout the rest of the week, took a break on the weekend. So I think he applied on a Wednesday. So 2 calls Wednesday, 1 call Thursday, 1 call Friday. And mind you, he's also getting emails and text messages as well, right? Then we start the next week and he signed up by the middle of that next week, right? And sometimes you feel like you're annoying these people. Who cares? They put their arm up to say, hey, I need help. Every single person that fills out a form says, I need help. So by you not calling them back, you're giving up on them, and you're giving up on their ability to experience your service, receive value, and change their freaking life. Because that's what we're doing in this industry. So by you not calling them, you're not, avoiding annoying them. You're just giving up on them, really. So you think you're annoying them. And some people respond with a text message. It's so funny because this same guy, there was another person we did this 6 calls with. They texted us back and said, stop calling me. I'm not interested. This guy texted us back saying, I'm so sorry I missed your calls. When can I schedule? Right?
Wait, so he texted you first to stop calling and you called him anyway?
No. So there was another client that got that same sequence. Right?
Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was
So
the same guy.
sorry. Yeah. Another client that got that same sequence, that applied on the same day, got the same sequence and told us, stop calling me. Okay. They're off my list. Fine. But that person was annoyed. But this guy said, I'm so sorry I haven't returned your calls. I'd like to schedule. Right? So just because you annoy some people and some people are turned off by it does not mean that it doesesn't work. It just means they're not ready. Right.
And I think what happens too is, especially with, or, marketing with on Facebook marketing and things like that, these people see this, they're scrolling, they're not ready to make a commitment. And it's almost like, I think they get nervous, that you start texting them and calling like, oh shit, I have to actually do something here. Something has to happen. I have to actually put, to do it now. So I think they get a little scared initially. So I know, and this is why you're just a huge success manager, because your relentless follow-up that you have. And 6 phone calls is a lot. And mentally too, on the person who's actually making those dials, like, I'm just calling this person, they're not going to pick up. And it's like stressful. And then when you do get them on the line, you're almost like, oh my God, they picked up. What do I say now? It's like you forget what to say because you've been trying to call them for so long. So who was the one that actually took the call, and how did that go? I'm totally going off topic, but I think this is super interesting.
So Ellen took the call. She's my my manager at my facility. So she does all the sales components, does a little bit of training, make sure everything runs smoothly. So and that's another note for you guys. Your manager should probably be your salesperson until you can hire a salesperson underneath them. Just FYI. But so she took the call. And how did the call go? Well, the guy was really just like, yes, I need help. I've struggled a long time with not having enough muscle mass and still having a belly. And he was a great client conversation to have. There weren't a lot of objections to overcome. He just came through the call, and it was just a matter of following up with him. Sometimes there's this low-hanging fruit that exists where you just have to make the effort, because not every call is going to be one of these calls where this person has a lot of objections and they're, dodging you and trying to ask you all the pointed questions about your program and not scheduling an appointment or scheduling and canceling or whatever. This guy scheduled, he came in, signed an agreement right away, and literally is in love with the place. So he's one of the best clients we have. I just had a meeting with him yesterday in regards to his nutrition, and he's just all in, completely bought into the program.
Yeah, that's great. I love when you get clients like that too. It's awesome, because then like, wow, everything I'm doing is working, and this is why I'm in business. All right, let's move on, because we definitely went down the rabbit hole with that one. But again, I think that was really good. So you guys listening to this, I'm going to challenge you to listening to this right now. 6 follow-up phone calls. 6. It's not easy. Everyone says they want it. Oh, I want to take home over 20,000 a month. Think about how much money that is. You want to take home 20, 30, 40,000, take home, not business make, take home. These are the things that you have to do. And you have to get comfortable with doing those things. And if you're willing to get comfortable doing those things, those are the things that are going to happen for you. And you're going to be able to take home and change your life doing it. So the next one that I'm going to talk about is, and I'm a little hesitant to say it because depending on the person who's listening to this, you should do this. And some of you shouldn't do this and should just focus on the basics. But I'm going to say upsells, upsells, upsells. That's always a great way to bring in more revenue and more profit. At one point, we were selling our $500, $300 to $500 range membership with a $200 additional nutrition coaching package on top of it. So that was an upsell that we were selling. We were selling $750, $850. We saw probably our biggest jump in revenue when we started selling it like that, because we were getting $750, $700, $800 at a clip. So again, upsells are definitely an easy way to bring in the profits, whether it's through supplements, but I think through nutrition coaching and things like that are another way to easily bring in more revenue. And Jimmy had mentioned it earlier, and we could do a totally separate podcast on that, but basically bringing in, internal challenges and things like that to upsell members to more. But upsells are definitely your friend. And we're still experimenting with this. I mean, we're currently going to experiment with doing like a supplement sale at point of sale to try to get a little more revenue in right off the bat. But upsells are definitely your friend because they go right to the top line, especially if it's something like nutrition coaching. and you do something smart like me and Jimmy do, where we have our staff kind of do that nutrition coaching, it brings in more revenue without having to increase your payroll.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The upsells are super important. We've run internal challenges a couple times a year, 3 to 4 times a year since the inception of our business. And it really helps you in those slow months, like August, like the month we're in right now. It helps you in December, right? Where we have slow months where you can fill your gym a little bit more and get a little more revenue from your current member base.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to go down the rabbit hole with that one,
No.
That's pretty self-explanatory. But if you have something to sell them, upsell them to it right away and do it at point of sale. Hey, Mrs. Jones, we have 2 flavors of protein that, now that you're working out, you're going to need protein, chocolate or vanilla. Which one works best for you? Which flavor do you want? Upsell them. Try to get more revenue per client. That's the way you increase everything. That's the way you take home the bacon. And the last one is, and this is so funny because I never really did this, but I've seen other gyms back ends that have a ton of this stuff in there and their expense sheet. Do a deep dive on what you're actually spending. All these different softwares, and it's annoying. I get it. There's so many things that you need. I need this program to do this. I need ClickFunnels that does this. I need this. I need this. I need this. All those little things add up tremendously. So you need to seriously take a look at what's coming out of your business and your chat and your cash every week, month, and look at those things and say, do I really need this?
Exactly. Even if it's $10 or $60 or a $300 software subscription, like you have to look at those line items and go, why am I spending money on this? Right. Mm-hmm. If it's not something that's directly related to retention or acquisition of a client, it doesn't make sense. Right. So just recently, and it happens to all of us. Just recently I had some copywriting software and I had some website SEO management software that I was paying for and I wasn't using. And I looked at it and I go, why the heck am I spending, $60 on this one product and $30 on this other product every month? I'm wasting $100, right? That $100 could go into,
your pocket.
Yeah, your pocket. Yes, exactly. Or other things to grow your business. But like in terms of what we're trying to get you guys to do, it could go into your pocket, especially if you're a gym owner that's, if you're making 15 or 20K a month in top line revenue right now, you should not be wasting $100 on a software product you're not using or something that's inefficient, right? So look at those line items, take a deep dive on your bank account and make sure that you're not overspending on things that you're not using.
I was the most profitable in my business when I had the least amount of stuff going out. Like I didn't use any, think about it, guys. Really, we're in fitness. Our business happens in the gym. You don't need anything fancy to get that done. Like it's different if you're spending it on marketing, it's a little different, but some of these things that you guys subscribe to, is it really adding to that element that's going to make you more money? Everything has to happen in the gym. So if you're looking at retention as one of the things, or, your client experience, that happens in person. That's like with you and your staff. The software is not going to fix that. Same thing with the outside. Realistically, if you bought a course on something like copywriting, for example, because our words are really what's going to sell. All these other softwares don't matter. You don't need, like, I pay for a software to help me like transcribe videos and make the videos fancy. I don't need that. The videos don't necessarily bring me new clients like directly. Like I can't say like every time I put out a video, I get 3 clients from it. So it's almost like a waste of me to do it. I do it now because I'm at a different stage in my business. But in the beginning, I never needed to do any of that stuff. I just grew my business and I focused on that. So you got to really take a deep dive on what you're spending. And that's how you're going to be able to take home more of the cheddar and that New York twang. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you click the description below to find out more and inquire about working with us. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Later, guys.